I was introduced by my cycling coach, Simon Kessler. He talked about a product. And initially, my first reaction was I rolled my eyes. I'm like, oh, it's another one of those. And then he said he was going to share an ABC investigative news report, which I thought was pretty cool, but that still didn't catch my attention. What did was the clinical data. He said, I'm going to send a clinical study along with that ABC primetime. When I saw that clinical study, I'm telling you, that was it for me. I knew my wife and my son and everybody that I loved and cared about would be on this product for the rest of our lives. Remember, I told you I'd already lost mom and dad to cancer. My mom ended up passing away about 3 years after I moved home to take care of her. So, you know, I was 27, lost both parents. I'm reading about a product that slows the aging process. It's a no-brainer. There's studies behind it. So what was it, Guy? It was the science. The science sold me on it, and the fact that it was shared with me by somebody who I trusted. I knew Simon wouldn't normally do these things. And so the science behind it just made sense to me. If there's a product that slows cellular aging by 40% in 30 days and has clinical data to support it, at that rate, if you don't get it, you're probably not.
Wow. So which clinical study was it that you were really blown away by?
Honestly, the original one, the first
original one. Okay.
7 when I signed up. When I enrolled in March of 2011, there were only 7 clinical studies. It was that initial study, the one that said when they take blood, the blood levels of oxidative stress were reduced by an average of 40% in 30 days. That one study right there, I never had seen anything like that before. And it made me go on a quest to learn more about oxidative stress. I had gotten little bits and pieces of it in school, in physiotherapy school, but honestly, just bits and pieces. And so it made me really go and dig deeper and learn what is oxidative stress. I'd heard about free radical damage. I knew about antioxidants. I didn't know free radical damage and antioxidants. I didn't know what oxidative stress. I didn't see that link. And the more I read about it, back then there were 65,000 studies on oxidative stress. Today there are 180,000. 65,000 to 180,000 in just 6 years. It should tell you this is it. This is what scientists have been yearning for, is like the magic bullet. What is it that we can do? What is it that we can actually attack? And that problem is oxidative stress.
Wow. And did you find when Simon came to you, was he saying that it was going to improve your cycling, your physical ability there, as well as the oxidative stress? Like, how did you find once you started taking it? Did you notice much difference in your athletic performance or recovery?
Yes, and yes, for the most part. So when he first approached me, yeah, that's how he approached me. Was he initially said, I've got something that I think might help your cycling. Of course, first question is it legal? Because my son's name is Lance. That should tell you who he's named after. That guy, the guy that did win 7 Tour de France's, and they'll never be able to take it away. That's a whole nother discussion. But he did say it was something he thought would help us as cyclists, help us recover faster from our athletic endeavors. I didn't initially look at the information until he said a second time, it's something I'm sharing just with my elite athletes. Well, he coaches world and national champions. Yes, I'm a state champion, but he coaches national and world champion. I mean, that's like a whole nother level. And he put me in the same sentence as them. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm part of this little test group of a handful of guys and gals that may see some benefit from this product. What I did see was within 2 weeks, I was sleeping better. Within 4 weeks, I was waking up before the alarm clock went off with more energy. And within 6 weeks, he had me do 2 very hard days in a row of interval training. We use power meters on our bikes. For those athletes on the line, they'll understand 500-watt intervals on a bicycle. Most people can't sustain that for 10 or 15 seconds. He had me doing 1-minute intervals, and he had me do 8 of them spaced out every 5 minutes. And then the next day he had me do something similar, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off for 10 minutes, take a break, and then do 10 more minutes. And then on the third day was when I power tested. Usually you go into a power test fresh without having done any of that ahead of time. I went into the power test with 2 hard days of training already in my legs and put out some of the highest power numbers I ever have. The crazy thing is, Simon is, I guess he's sadistical. He said, take a 10-minute break and go do it again. And I put out a power number that was equal. I mean, one was 321 watts, one was like 323 watts. The 2 watts difference isn't significant. It was the same. After all that hard training, after doing a test and then 10-minute break and doing the test again. And I remember calling him up and going, all right, man, there's way more to this. The answer is yes. I do see that, Guy, that many athletes think they're super healthy. What we do is not that good for you. It creates higher levels of oxidative stress. What is healthy is going out and walking around the neighborhood, ride your bike at a leisurely pace, work out a half an hour a day, 3 to 5 days a week. That's for general health. But when you're talking racing at a high level or running at a high level or rowing or whatever it is, that produces higher levels of oxidative stress than not doing any of those things, if that makes sense. So we actually have higher levels of oxidative stress. As I share this with people, it starts to make sense to them. They're like, that's why I'm really sore afterwards. That's why I'm really tired afterwards. That's why I get overtrained and they almost get like a chronic fatigue syndrome. I also coach athletes and they'll say, I just don't even want to get on the bike. It's because they're actually going into almost a depression where it's almost like an Epstein-Barr type syndrome, although it's not caused by that, where their body's just shutting down saying, look, enough is enough. A lot of that is due to oxidative stress and the fatigue that comes along with it and can be alleviated definitely by activating NRF2.